Hi there, welcome to This Must Be Talking Heads. My name's Rodney and I'm the world's best and only Talking Heads historiologist. Today I'm catching up with friend of the show, Jason Jones from Rhino Records. He's one of the great brains behind all of the amazing Talking Heads reissues that we've been getting, all of the one-off reissues, and more importantly, the big super deluxe box sets that we've been getting. Caught up with Jason when the 77 box set came out and everybody loved all the insights into what went into making that, and so I thought I'd have him back to talk about the More Songs About Buildings and Food box set that's about to come out. We also get into some of the other releases that he's worked on. So we talk about the Live on Tour 78 record that came out for Record Store Day, and I do try to squeeze him for a few details about other things that are coming out. He does keep things pretty tight-lipped, but I give it my very best go. I know you can't wait to hear it, so without further ado, here's my interview with Jason Jones. It's a pleasure to be seeing your face and talking to you again. How are you going?
Hello, how are you doing?
Fantastic. It's always a great day when I get to talk to you about Talking Heads stuff, and
Great.
there's heaps to talk about. I know what I can ask you and what I can't ask you, but I'm going to try anyway. Let's get into, we're a few weeks away, I guess, from the release of the More Songs box set. So this is the follow-up to the 77 box set, which was, I think, very successful. I wanted to just maybe start with what it was like to get into another one. And I assume this one was already rolling before 77 even came out because there's so much in there that you must have had a long head start on it. But how did it feel after the 77 one came out? And what was your thinking like, hey, if they like the 77 one, they're going to love the More Songs one?
Yeah, I think that was, I mean, the gestation period for it was definitely in the midst of, I guess you could say, the manufacturing of and immediately post-release of 77. It was something where I really looked at the feedback from the fan base of what they liked, what they didn't like, what they wanted to hear or what they wanted to see, and really took that to heart because I wanted to make it so that if you, as you kindly said, if you like the 77 box, just wait until you see the More Songs box because, I think that, and I believe I said this on the last time that we spoke, that the 77 box with regards to previously unreleased material or real, true rarities that no one's ever heard, the 77 box was the one that was going to have the least amount of stuff associated with it. From More Songs onward is where you're really going to get a treasure trove of material. That is, I think you can see I'm establishing a pattern of the original album remastered or recut from the original 2-track tape, disc of rarities inclusive of as much previously unreleased material as I can get out, and live material. But the Blu-ray, one of the things that is, as much as people really enjoyed the Atmos mix or having all of the immersive mixes in one place and like the visuals associated with it, there were some questions that I fielded about, well, where's video content on this? And one of the things that was intended for the 77 box but just did not come to fruition because of licensing was the Old Grey Whistle Test performance of Psycho Killer and Don't Worry About the Government. But it just didn't work out. But for this Blu-ray, I already knew that we had the video footage of Intermedia Theater on hand, or at least the promo film. I spent a very long time trying to find all the other reels associated with it, but I think those are truly lost to time. But I also knew we had the Sproul Plaza show. So yeah, I already knew that I was going to be including that stuff. So just to hear that those are the kinds of things that the fan base wanted to see and hear made me think, okay, I'm on the right track for More Songs.
I wanted to build up to some of that stuff because I have more questions about those, but I want to get to them in a minute because one of the things that happened last time with the 77 reissue was a 2 LP version. If you just want the 2 LPs, you can get the original album and the rarities album. You could buy that as one package. If you aren't interested in, for whatever reason, if you don't enjoy having fun, having a great record collection, you don't have to buy the box set. This time
Yeah.
that's gone even further. So again, you get the 2 LP option for more songs, which is coming out. So can we
Yep.
start there with the remastering of the original album? You said it comes from the original. Is
Sure.
it the 2-track tapes? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, it's the original 2-track stereo flat master.
Sure.
Um,
And all the audiophiles just lost their mind. That means nothing to me,
yeah,
but I'm glad that
yeah.
they like that.
What that means basically is that there is no digital step in the chain. It's as close
Yep.
to the master tape as you're going to get. We call it
Yep.
AAA. It's all
Yes.
all
AAA, I've heard
analog.
that.
Yeah.
Does that require a
So,
remaster of the album or no?
well, technically, whenever you cut a new lacquer from tape, it is a
Technically, it's a
form of,
master.
technically it's a remaster.
Right.
Technically, I wouldn't classify it as much of a remaster as you would for the compact disc format.
Right.
But we do have the great team at Sterling overseeing all aspects of mastering, not just the lacquer cutting, the AAA version of the original album, and all of the other bits that are on vinyl this time, which I'll be perfectly honest, all that stuff is cut from digital, either because of the way that it was compiled, because it was a mixture of previously released rarity material or unreleased stuff that was, newly transferred, or the live material, which that also needed a good transfer. So
The 77 sounded incredible, and I can't wait to get
yeah,
the more songs I need into my ear holes.
I think you'll be really happy with it, frankly.
Can you tell us anything more about the Rarities album? This is, I think, I know this is the stuff that you get really excited about too. Tell us about the Rarities album, what's on it, and what people should look forward to.
Well, it's a mixture of material that was included on the original dual disc reissue.
Mm-hmm.
So the version of I'm Not in Love and the version of The Big Country and the Country Angel version of Thank You for Being an Angel. Thank you for sending me an angel. Sorry. Thank you for sending me an angel, which was the B-side of Take Me to the River. But the thing that was really interesting to me was finding alternate early mixes of material and alternate versions of material. That's where the version of Found a Job that came out whenever we originally announced the box, to me, that's one of the most impactful pieces of audio that's associated with the box and frankly with the entire archival series, because I think it's a really interesting insight into the process of and inner workings of the band and their new producer, Brian Eno, working together in real time. A lot of the stuff that's going on, the delay that's in that version of Found a Job, that's Eno real time with his suitcase synth, like feeding all that stuff through his synth. So it's a really interesting insight into their process. And also, it's just a song that I just want to keep going. You just get locked into that groove for the last seemingly like 2.5 minutes of that song. And it's just, I just don't want it to stop. And then listening to enough of their material, like I could hear that they're having fun, because I can hear Chris hitting the cymbals towards the end of the song, and you can tell when he's having fun whenever he starts doing that, and it's just like it just keeps going. Like it's just really fun to hear them revel in this song that is going to become a classic in their canon. That alone makes it worth it for me. But the version of With Our Love kind of has a similar treatment. It's got a lot more effects on it, and yeah, it's gonna blow your mind. And there's a lot of really interesting, fun stuff on there. But also there's stuff from the bonus outtakes and rarities digital collection, which, I mean, this is something where you can get it for the very first time physically and within the context of the larger sessions that they are associated with, rather than just disparate elements spread across that compilation. So
Yeah, we covered that as well when we did the 77 one as well, to say, there's bits and pieces all over the place. If you just want it all in one place and you have an intense, intimate experience with that album, you can just do it all in one package.
that's the intention with these. Is it's just let's contextualize everything all in one place at one time, so you can track the development of the songs and the creative decisions that were made in the making of the record.
I can't wait to hear the Eno stuff, particularly because I think, like you say, it sheds light on what they went with and what they didn't go with, which I think just deepens your appreciation of the final products as well.
Yeah.
And then on that topic, so obviously we're talking about the experience, what it's like to sit with that album and digest it for a while. There's a new offering for this box set, which is, I believe, the 2 LP set with the 4 7-inch singles. Is that right?
Yes, there is. Well, some of the feedback from the fan base was mainly rooted around cost associated with the 77 box
Mm-hmm.
whenever it was inclusive of everything. And I know you loved it, getting the 7-inch singles and everything all in one
All right. Yeah.
place at one time, which, I wholeheartedly stand by that decision for the 77 box. However, with the machinations of how records are distributed now, and particularly internationally, it just became really difficult for international fans of the band, people who are not based in the United States or in
Yes.
North America, to be able to get access to that format. So the way to kind of find a nice middle ground with it was to make the 4 LP version available all around the world, but the only kind of special piece, bespoke piece, if you will, would be if you wanted the 7-inch singles, you could get it via the band's website or via Rhino, or via, if you're based in the UK, there's a Rhino store called Dig.
Okay.
That's technically where you can get it in the UK, but Warner Music Australia has it. There's
Yep.
there's all the
Very good friends
various
of mine, Water
territories.
Music Australia. Thank you so much, people.
Fantastic. But some of this may also be a bit too inside baseball or whatever. But some of these things are, I have a plan of how I want these deluxe editions to come out. But if it's something where I'm causing friction within a consumer and their intention to want to purchase this or want to hear this, or the last thing I want to do is create difficulty in someone getting access to what they love.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what informed the decision to make the 7-inch singles bespoke this time around. And if it works, we'll probably do it for the next one. I think it's, it just kind of, it's real-time feedback, I suppose.
Yeah,
In this situation.
absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
real choose your own adventure kind of situation. So, I mean, as we kind of ladder up through the products, so an option to get the 4 7-inch singles if you would like to. I don't know if you want to talk about the 7-inch singles specifically as
Yeah.
a
Yeah. No.
breakout item for conversation.
Yes. Yes. Well, what you've got in there is you have the original US version of well, let me backtrack. Trying to go through just the versions that have picture sleeves.
Sure.
Nothing that has like a company sleeve or just a generic
Generic.
sleeve. I want to make it so that anything that's reissued has its own unique picture sleeve. So what you have is the U.S. version of the "Take Me to the River" single that has the Country Angel version of "Thank You for Sending Me an Angel" as the B-side. You've got the UK version of "Take Me to the River," which has "Found a Job" as the B-side. But it's not the double 45 version that comes with the family
Yep.
tree or anything like that. It's just simply just the standard sleeve version.
Got it.
One piece of rarity that I found nearly impossible to track down, but managed to find a copy, was the Japanese version of Take Me to the River. So I really wanted to repro that as a part of it, just because of the sheer, delight in probably some fans. This is probably one of the easiest ways for them to get access to that
Yeah.
version of the single. And then there's
The Good Thing.
the Good Thing single, which is
The Dutch version or something.
that's the Dutch version. That's right. Yes. So yeah, that's what's included
That,
in there, and it's in a nice
I've got.
folio. It's in the same kind of folio like we had for the
Yep.
77 box.
They're
Yeah, it's
beautiful. And I
pretty.
remember unfolding those from my 77 box and I could barely breathe. And for this one, I think I had 3 of the 4 last time. This time I've only got 1 of those 4. And it's not even the one
What's
that's
the
in the
only
box. It's a
one?
different one.
What's the one that you have?
I've got the Take Me to the River, the 2. It's got, I think, Psycho Killer is a second 7-inch, and
Yes,
it's
yes,
the one you were
yes,
talking about. It folds out. So
yes,
it's not strictly the
yes.
one that's in the box, but I've never tracked down the Japanese one. I know of it, and I've never tracked
Oh
down the
yeah,
Good Thing, although I know of it. So
the
again, for me, this is
Japanese
just
one's insane. Yeah,
the holes in my collection, and I don't have the world's biggest collection, but it's pretty decent, and
sure.
I've still got heaps of holes to fill, and you're helping me do it, so thank you. Um,
Well, it's something where this is. I want these to be as definitive versions of these albums. And to
yeah,
me, that is inclusive of all of the other ephemera around these releases. And that's
yes,
inclusive of the 7-inch singles. And, if I'm going to put something in a folio, it better have a picture sleeve.
yeah. No,
So,
I appreciate that.
yeah, I'm just trying to complete your
But
collection if you can, or if you need to, or if it's something where you really loved having that Dutch Good Thing single,
that's what I mean.
but it was lost to time, or your
You can relive
partner,
it.
an old partner, stole it and never gave it back. Something like that. It's just
I would never talk
you
to them
know.
again. So yeah, this is again the best way to get all those things back. But
Sure.
and it's one of those things. I feel like if I had another friend who was really into Talking Heads, we could just sit there and break open this box, pass everything around, and just really hold it in our hands and just have that
Yeah.
experience. I just love that.
Yeah.
We should get into the other LP, the live LP. This is the Intermediate Theatre show, and I'm keen to
Yes.
understand because you said you were hunting for the video footage. Obviously, at some point, and I don't know this. Are you confirming that at some point it was all shot, but
Yes.
the full videos can't be found? That's fine. But
No.
how is it that you've got the audio? Is that because one was recorded video, one was
They're
recorded audio,
recorded
and they were brought
separate. They're
together?
recorded separately. Yeah, they're
Okay.
recorded separately. It's pretty wild that it even exists because the tape itself, it was delivered to us. It's a tape that came from the video production company. So they were
And they had it.
that proves to me that, well, no, it was delivered to Warner or
Yeah.
to Sire back in
Okay.
1978. Um, but that shows me that they were running
Got it.
sound and they were running video.
Got it.
We have the sound portion, which it is I wouldn't say warts and all document, but it's not there. I kept as, many flubs and, hitting the microphone and stuff like that in there because, again, I wanted it to be a real document of this is this moment in time for the band where they're on the press. They've moved from being the CBGB's, era band. They are now clearly looking at national
Yeah.
fame and a real breakout moment for them. So it's a show that has a lot of really positive tension in it. There is that, the kind of the wiry, nervy elements that you hear in the CBGB show and the 77 box or as part of the WCOZ release. You can still hear that they're getting more comfortable, but it's still a little uncomfortable, but I think that but that also creates some of the tension. Part of that tension is what creates the magic
Yes.
because there's some versions that are on here that are insane, and also just just thinking about it in relationship to the Live on Tour release, which is like 3 months later. Granted, that's like 3 solid months of touring, but that's like the shape and form of the groove machine that they are about to become is already there, and it's just got to crystallize through touring and through performance and through
Yeah.
the inner workings of these songs, which it's so fascinating to know that even though it's the second album, I mean, the vast majority of these songs from More Songs have been in their repertoire since 75, 76, back in the early CB's days, and I think that, they shifted their set list during 77 era to be, obviously more focused on the 77 material, but, little things were starting to drop in. The big country starts to drop in, occasionally, they'll play Take Me to the River, they'll do, with our love, it's just, and thank you for sending me an angel. There's little things that are just starting to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And it's really interesting and exciting to hear. Just listening to the 77 box and then listening to the More Songs box, there's so much growth that takes place in a relatively short amount of time.
I can't wait to dive into it and just live through all of that. Part of living through that is going through the liner notes. I mean, we call them liner notes. It's really it would stand alone as its own book. It's a real thing. Like the 77 one was so detailed and comprehensive with all the photos and the contribution from the band members. Can we expect something similar from the liner notes in the More Songs compared to 77?
Yes, you will get a similar treatment, and while I will say it's a slightly smaller book, page count wise, I
Okay.
actually think it's a much more exhilarating and tighter read and visual aid. It flows incredibly well. Like it's just it leaps it like it jumps off the page. Like it is, of the two that we've given this treatment, it is my favorite of the two, I will say.
I think I mean, as interesting as it is, 77 as a jumping off point, to go with them on the journey through all the albums, I think is just going to be so interesting. So it's such a great step because
Mm-hmm.
from 77, you have to go somewhere. And so this is where we're at. But to
Yeah.
get a better understanding of well, what they were thinking or what they were trying to do, like you said, that nervous tension that was in the shows at the time, they've already
Mm-hmm.
proven they can play shows. They don't need to prove that, but there's something else that they have to prove. And there was something
Yeah.
else that they had to prove with this album as well. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to get more insights. And I'm sure it's all coming from the liner notes. You had a great opportunity here to drop all the wisdom that's in the liner notes and claim it as your own, but you didn't. So thank you. Thanks for saving something for us.
Yeah, no. I think, we have the good fortune of, Tina and David and Chris and Jerry contributing their notes. I think that's a real gift. It's for all the fans. So they're great as usual. Each of the times that they've been asked to contribute notes, they've just been wonderful. So I don't think you'll be disappointed this time around.
Fantastic. And so,
Yeah,
okay, have we covered everything that's in the full box set now? Because I mean, my intention was to sort of step through all the releases and add one more thing and say that's all the boxes. Because we haven't talked much
sure,
about the digital one. So there's the multiple CD one, and you kind of get it all with the digital pack. I feel this time. So the record
yeah,
collectors can still get the full box set, but for the full
yeah,
completists, you almost need the digital one instead, maybe if you want to get
yeah.
everything, including the video content.
Well, yeah, the video, which I'm holding it up right here.
There it is, beautiful.
The Blu-ray content is really strong,
You don't
extremely
miss out
strong.
anything. There's nothing
No,
there's
because you
nothing that's
get
not in the digital pack.
no. There's nothing that's not in the digital in the CD Blu-ray version. I think it's because I think the one thing that if you really wanted everything, you should get the 7-inch bundle because you get the edit of
Yep.
Take Me to the River. That's also recut from the original all
Oh,
analog master as well. So,
wow.
but it just felt like including that on the rarities disc just kind of felt like there's already a lot of Take Me to the River on here.
Yep.
And really a single edit is not, unless it's like you're talking about Remaining Light and having the single version of Houses of
That's maybe
Motion, which
different.
has the extra
Yeah, that's maybe
verse.
different.
That's a whole other scenario. But I think that this was a nice, robust version of this record that is really, again, it's just a really nice document in time. And also,
Yep.
My intention with the rarity discs is to make them endlessly playable and to make them a part of the canon and, have their own ebb and flow to them. So I think that it isn't just a selection of things just kind of cobbled together and,
Yep.
In an odd sequence or anything. There's a lot of thought that went into it. So yeah, I
The
think
video content.
everyone would be really happy with it. But
Oh,
yes,
I'm
the
sure
video
they will.
content.
We get these full shows. We've had little clips of those shows from some things like the chronology DVDs. So there's like,
Mhm.
if you saw one song and you thought, man, I wish I could watch the whole concert, well, it's going to be available. And
Yeah.
people have said things over the years about like, man, wouldn't it be great if we got some kind of expanded version of like the name of this band is Talking Heads, where there was more of those shows? And it's like, yeah, wake up. We're getting tons of live shows
Yeah, you're
brought
getting
out.
it.
So that brings us, I think, to the last thing that I wanted to at least go through because it came out between the last time I spoke to you and this time, which is that
Oh
scene in the
yes.
background there, that Live on Tour 78 record, which I think has such an interesting history, and it's almost
Yes.
it feels as though it's been given a complete new branding and identity. Like it wasn't just here's that old red
Yeah.
Live on Tour record. It's new. It's got a whole new cover, everything.
Yeah. Well, I think that first of all, part of the reason why I didn't want to call it the Warner Brothers Music Show Live on Tour is that because I think that can be a bit confusing as to what exactly that
You're
is
getting,
because I think Live on Tour 78 is a bit more all encompassing of what it actually is, which is you're getting that full show in really great fidelity for the very first time. And again, it's another, double LP set cut at 45, so it sounds fantastic. Again, another it's Stasium. This is the version that was mixed by Ed and David, which is it's dynamite. I mean, everyone freaks out over that version of Psycho Killer that's on there and the extended freak out at the end. Like
yeah,
it's totally due all of its praise
yeah,
because it is fantastic. And the version of New Feeling that's on there, I think
yeah,
it's a really
inventive.
great, it's a really great, it's a really great show. And the thing that I found most impactful was to be able to put it out in its true sequence for the very first time, which to me is the sequence itself is so interesting because typically they would Thank You for Sending Me an Angel would be the final song of the set of the encore portion of the set, but
Yep.
instead it's the final song in the main portion of the set, and then they save Psycho Killer and Take Me to the River as like the final two songs, and that's like a dream encore right
Yeah.
there particularly for the band at this time period. That's like they've played an amazing show so far, and then they just left hook, right hook with Psycho Killer and Take Me to the River.
No
It's
one's leaving that show unhappy with that
yeah,
ending.
no,
I think I
no,
said when I did my review of that release, I think I said you can hear the clarity on it. You can hear people from the audience shouting out, "This is the
yeah,
song they play on the radio!" Like,
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a really well recorded show. I think it's again, it's Stasium. He's a amazing man.
We have so much to thank him for. The live on
Yeah,
tour, I mean, obviously it was part of Record Store Day, which of course has come and gone. I'm still seeing copies floating around in record stores, and I'm like, look, I can't, like, I almost feel tempted to buy another one because I'm like, I can't, like, this is so good. How are people passing this up? I'll buy it and
yeah,
maybe give it to someone or something. But it's,
yeah,
I'm just so glad that it got its due. But again, for the people that
yeah.
are
Same.
wanting, like, give us all of the live shows, it's like, yeah, we're kind of getting them. All you need to do is just
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
all
I
the things that
mean,
are coming out.
yeah. I mean, I think that that's one of the great things about Sire back in the day is that they understood that this band was a really great live band. So they invested the time and energy and funding to properly record this band. I think that there's 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 a lot of live material that's in the vault of stuff that
Mhm.
eventually did inform the name of this band is Talking Heads. So there may be a pattern establishing of things that were a part of the name of this band
Huh.
that may come to light as a part of Record Store Day.
Yeah.
Vince,
So as
maybe.
people, maybe. So people who are thinking about grabbing this box set, do you think that's their major purchase for the year? Is there anything else? Do you think they should be saving any more money this year, or is that it for this year?
I
What should they
mean,
do?
as far as major things for this year, I would say this is the box set
For the year.
the for the calendar year
Okay.
2025. I will say. Originally, the intention was to try to get two out a year, but that it doesn't give the fan base enough time to breathe. Because I understand that these are an investment,
And they get their
and
due, and you spend the time with
and
them.
yeah, you need to spend
You
your
don't just
time
buy
with it.
one and then 3 months later another one's out, and you think, oh, I just got that last one.
Yeah, yeah. So I think yeah, for this year, this is the one for this
This
year.
is the main thing for the year. But there will be
Mhm.
there will be more. There will be more next year. Is that what you're saying, Jason?
I would say we'll probably speak to each other soon. Is
That's what
what
you
I'll
said
say.
last time. Well,
Well, yeah. Well, I was a man of my word
you would, that's
at
true.
that time.
If I had a hat, I would take it off to you. I appreciate you
There you
standing
go.
up for what you said. And I was
Yeah,
thinking before we organized this call that this might be the only time this year that I talk to you. I mean, I would love to talk to you for all the box sets. And then maybe if there's any periphery releases, we can catch them like we did with that 78 tour album. We'll talk about those as well when we do our box set catch ups. How about that?
I think that sounds fantastic. I think that I similar similar to you. These are some of the times where I get to talk about this band and what they mean to me and what I think they mean to popular music and their importance and just some of the great stuff that is yet to come. I think that they're true artists. They're true artists, and we have the great opportunity to revel in their creativity so many years ago. And they're
Well,
still incredibly impactful and creative people. I mean, Jerry and Adrian Belew on tour, those shows are incredible. David with his new record and his tour,
mhm.
like it's there's these are just another part of the larger story that is continuing to be told about these this great this great collective of creative people. So
Yeah. And I think
yeah.
a lot of it feeds into each other as well. Like as much as like part of what they do when they tour is honoring these albums, and then
Sure.
part of understanding the albums better is to appreciate the what they're doing today even more.
Yeah.
So they feed
Yeah.
into each other.
Yeah.
Well, for
Thousand
those people
percent.
who always want me to ask Jason for more details about more releases, I tried. I did what I could.
Yeah.
I'm pressing him. You can't see it, but he's sweating. Like I'm putting him under the pump. But we should be thankful for what we're getting, and we know that we're in safe hands with you, Jason. So thank you on behalf of everybody. Again, thank you for these great box sets.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, if you haven't checked out any of the various offerings, please do pre-order if you're so inclined, or if you haven't even checked out the new alternate version of Found a Job, you should go do that because it's awesome and you'll really enjoy it. And also, if you haven't watched the new Psycho Killer video yet, you should go watch that. Yes, you should go watch that as well.
A real moment. We're having such a moment.
This is a moment in time that may not be repeated for a very long time. So I think it's, you're living in a golden age of archival releases from this band, and their willingness and support in doing these kind of archival deep dives is, it's happening. So hop on. It's gonna get crazy.
I think that's going to be the name of the video. Hop on, it's going to get crazy. I ride through Talking Heads back catalog with Jason Jones. Exactly. Thank you so much for the time, Jason. And again, just acknowledging that I would love to have more conversations with you in future. So this is not the end, but thank you for the time you've given me today and the insights you've given us.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So there you go. Another box set is on its way. Which one are you going to get? Are you going to get the whole vinyl package? Are you going to get the digital package with the Blu-ray and the video content? It's a tough choice this time, I'll tell you. And a pattern is definitely emerging. These box sets just keep getting better and better. So I hope that you've found a job that pays enough, because you're going to have to save your pennies and save your dollars, because there's big, big things coming. So that's it for me. Thank you so much to Jason for his time and insights. I always deeply appreciate them. We'll see you at the next one, Jason. Tell me what other content you'd like to see on here. And in the meantime, I've been Rod. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.